global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Global Happenings to the YouTube channel. If this is the first time of seeing this channel, kindly subscribe, like, and follow our channel. Ever since the pictures and the photograph of Peter Obi and Atiku emerged on social media on most social media platforms on the internet, many Nigerians have been asking one singular question: what are these people cooking, and where will Dati Yusuf Ahmed be placed in the whole equation? It looks like there's more to it than meets the eyes, and they've decided to explain more on that. But before we go into the newspaper, kindly subscribe to our channel. Now, according to the news, the National Consultative Front, which is actually a major political consortium of leading opposition forces in Nigeria, has revealed an ongoing move to unite the major candidates in the 2023 presidential election. It specifically mentioned the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and kwankwaso as some of those they were trying to unite to form a new mega movement to save Nigeria from the misrule of the All Progressive Congress APC. Now, this group is actually led by Professor Pat Utomi, who also disclosed in a statement issued by his national spokesperson, Malam Santuraki, some few hours ago. The NCF front commended and applauded the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election, Mr. Peter Obi, for what it described as his daft political moves to rally leading opposition leaders in the country to engage and challenge the misrule of the country by the ruling APC. And the group also added that Obi's consultations with Atiku, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, in the 2023 election and other leading opposition figures in the country had been adopted by NCF. Now, according to this group, the strategic consultations are a teaser to the flag-off of a series of activities lined up by a new committee recently set up to facilitate and coordinate the realignment and fusion of leading opposition leaders and forces towards the formation of a new ideology. Now, it said that the realignment and fusion process was expected to throw up an alternative mega political movement for Nigerians by March 2025, adding that it was also expected to prioritize the mobilization of like-minded political leaders and forces across the country into one ideological mega political platform, irrespective of their political parties. Now, to this extent, the question of merger of political parties is relegated to the background as a secondary and can only be entertained if it becomes necessary after the formation of the new mega party by like-minded political leaders and groups in the country, the statement said. Now, it is worthy of note that their both modus operandi was adopted at the inaugural meeting of the committee hosted in Lagos on 6th February 2024 by Professor Pat Utomi. Members of the Broad-Based Realignment and Fusion Implementation Committee included Professor Pat Utomi, Engineer Buba Galadima, Senator Shehu Sani, Ambassador Mrs. Nkoyo Toyo, Barrister Ladipo Johnson, Malam Ibrahim Ali Ansami, Mr. Ada Ewen, and a whole lot of others, of course. Now, the committee is built to flag off the process of its political realignment and intervention next month by hosting major consultative meetings with leading opposition presidential candidates in the country, especially Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Rabiu Musa kwankwaso. Now, this is to be followed by joint national intervention meetings and summits of like-minded political leaders, groups in the country, and the state of Nigeria as a prelude to initiating the broad-based ideology and value-driven political movement and ultra-mega political party to save Nigeria from growing misrule of the APC. Now, on the question of who becomes the candidate of the new movement in 2027, the group said that it had already been foreclosed and will only be discussed and popularly resolved after the formation of the mega movement. It added that the leading presidential candidates in the 2023 elections and other political gladiators in the consultations have already decided to jettison their political ambition for the formation of a formidable opposition movement capable of saving everyone from an immediate national mishap. So, national salvation first is the guiding rule of this political intervention of the Nigerian opposition, and any individual who matter highly placed found pursuing personal political agenda risk expulsion from the movement, is said. My colleague is in the house. Now, if they're saying that everybody should shove their intentions onto this mega party is formed, we're actually not telling ourselves the truth because it will crack before it forms. We all know that the likes of Atiku Abubakar will not step down for Peter Obi because he will say, "This is my last chance of getting the shot. If I don't, I don't have the time. Age is not on my side to wait." So Peter Obi, you're still very youthful. Why not wait? When I finish, I will hand over to you. Kwankwaso from the beginning have always made it known that he cannot be a VP to someone like Peter Obi. That he's a senior man in politics. If there's anybody that should be stepping down, it should be Peter Obi. So I already see problem before it is being formed. My colleague is in the house. What's your take on this drama?
This issue of amalgamation or merger by these people, by the different political party, for me, it's absolutely not a good political move because Pat Utomi has been forming this kind of group for a long time. I've seen him even before the previous election. He had formed a group like that. So many performing governors were part of it, but somehow it didn't go anywhere. The issue of merger at this point with the condition of politics in Nigeria, I don't think that it will work. And I believe that what Peter Obi should do is to see how he can strengthen his union with the North and also continue the push. Forget about any form of merger because as of now, if you talk about merger, just as you've rightly said, talk about the issue of merging. What will happen is Atiku Abubakar will never want to step down. But I've always been thinking, how about stepping down for just 4 years? Let Peter Obi go in there and prove himself. But guess what? These guys just want to achieve their goal of becoming president. They don't care what this foreign country will transform to in the next 20 years because they're already old. They know by the next 20 years, they could be very close to their grave, or maybe some of them won't even be alive. So, what are we saying? So, for me, I believe that Peter Obi should stay out of this kind of group, continue to build a strong and formidable team, get the youth involved in the new in his political push, and also prove beyond reasonable doubt that he can be trusted, and then we can hit the ground running. And also, I feel at this point that whoever that who is intending to bring in as his vice should also start doing underground work in his own, region. Start doing it because I think that was one of the things that kind of nosedive his numbers. Uh, his vice was not very popular. He was not well known in another part of Nigeria. He's a superb guy with so many qualifications and has done so much for Nigeria, but yet he doesn't have the kind of acceptance that is expected of a vice president. So I think that was where the issues came up. The same thing with Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar picked Okowa, who couldn't control anything in the south. So I think right now he should look out for a vice in the northern part of the country that is nationally accepted by his people, and then the future is bright for him.
All right. I totally agree with you on that. But on a final note, Peter Obi should never think of being a vice president. To both Atiku and Kongwaso, he will lose his followership. Everybody went in with that name Obedient because of Obi. Obedient is not because people are obedient, it's because of that name Peter Obi. So if he loses it by trying to go under anyone, he will lose his pedigree and his political push for life because the people, the youth will feel disappointed. One, two, if he makes the mistake of entering any merger, the same way they pushed him out of PDP is the same way he will also run out of this mega party because they will dollarize the whole thing. And it will be that we know over time that he has been able to showcase himself. He's a man of integrity who does not believe in paying his way through. So it doesn't make any sense after leaving Labour Party to join the mega and they now push him out 9 minutes and it does not look as if he's so unserious and after a while they'll start looking at him as a man who is not focused, does not even know what he wants. So like you rightly say, this is the time to begin to develop grassroots. This is the time to begin to have that structure that they condemned him about. Let's begin to have structures on ground. And if Labour Party is not the right place, because they're already politicizing Labour Party, there's a lot of cracks right now within Labour Party, one way or the other. They can form a new group, form a new party, and let the youth belong in there. And let's see how 2027 will roll. Let's go wrap it up. Let's continue our conversation. What's the take?